No one, except the American taxman, knows how many multimillionaires live in Texas. But there are enough to make the possession of large wealth little cause for comment in this part of the world. Oil has created most of these big fortunes and has built modern cities like Dallas and Houston. Not every Texan is rich, to be sure, but there are sufficient rich people hereabouts to suggest some truth to the remark that Texans can be divided into haves and have-mores.
This is my 58th airplane.
Oh, I had a chance on London Bridge, and a lot of folks gave me credit for it, but I wasn't in. The strange thing is that the fellow who bought it thought he was buying the Tower Bridge.
Well, I think wealth is a fine thing. I'm all for it.
And I'd say if France decided to dismantle the Eiffel Tower, I think I'd be a bidder. And if my good friends in Pisa, Italy, could get rid of that structure and guarantee I could put it up at the same angle, I think I'd buy it.
And there I brought in a gushing well to start with. And so I had 3 gushers within less than a year.
A handkerchief that sells for $500 is a very expensive handkerchief, I think you'll admit. I adore those flowers. How much are they?
$40 a piece. They're porcelain.
Give a set of those, Miss Marcus, for her birthday.
And a beautifully matched diamond necklace. It has 150 carats in it.
Any person that's just of moderate ability in Texas can live well.
This has 84 diamonds in this.
Anyone of a little better than average ability can become wealthy.
This necklace sells for $65,000. It's one of the finest that we've ever owned. It's a precious pink topaz. That's $21,000. That's 43 carats.
Texas, USA, on a Sunday afternoon. Multimillionaire David Harold Bird and his wife Matty have gone fishing, Texas style. With them is a helper to steer the boat and to tie the bait onto their hooks.
See, this is a red ear. See the red ears there?
Come on, Matty.
It was but a few years back that Harold Bird and a bunch of other plutocrats from Dallas bought this 2,000-acre site in East Texas, bulldozed 9 lakes out of it, and arranged for them all to be regularly stocked with fish reared in their own private hatcheries. They call it Coon Creek with a double K, and they keep it very much to themselves. And it's all just a 20-minute plane ride away from their offices in Dallas.
Fellas, you all have no idea. Yeah, red ear. No, Democrat.
David Harold Bird is an oil man, D.H. Bird, dry hole Bird to his friends, on account of him drilling 56 consecutive dry holes before getting his first gusher. But since then, Dame Fortune has been good to dry hole Bird. Most of the wells he drills these days are wet and profitable. In fact, he must be worth now many millions of dollars more than that number of consecutive dry holes.
5 foot, that's a big, awfully big rig. This rig here run about $500,000 on this iron ore.
Yeah, it's $500,000 rig.
Harold Bird began as a consultant geologist, receiving membership number 237 in the American Association of Petroleum Geologists. Today, that membership is way past the 70,000 mark.
1923, I got $100 a day, which was pretty good money for a youngster. Then I went on my own and got this bunch of wells, dry holes, 56 consecutive dry holes. And then I got 2 fields the same day. I made up for it. Well, in 1931, I believe it was, or 2, I closed some of my leases right here in this, this was the bank. And Mr. Frank Elder and some of the local people, I got up a block of 15,000 acres, most of which these wells are on, all around the city of Kilgore. And I was the only stranger in town. And they were very glad to see me and offered me the leases for $1.50 an acre. And I bought all I could, and they still wanted to sell them some more, but I should have taken them because a lot of those are worth several thousand acre now. But this bank, they finally tore the bank down and put these wells here. It was a nice brick bank before. In the early days, I used to drive a Pierce Arrow. And a Pierce Arrow was a very luxury car, but it was my calling card. I would go into any area where there would be a boom on and you could buy leases. I could buy leases when Standard Oil Company couldn't buy them sometimes. I've always used flying in my business. I've used an airplane since 24. And I used to fly to my wells that I was drilling. It was scattered all over the country, several hundred miles apart, some of them. And I'd clear away a runway and land with a rig and check the well.
Of the 58 planes Byrd has owned over the years, he has given away 9, lost 5, and the rest he has either worn out or traded in for new ones. And as fast as he changed planes, he moved on from oil. His herd of Santa Gertrudis cattle, for instance, has won him many prizes.
Jim, move 519 up a little. Yeah, 519, the bull. Right there, he's coming. There he's coming. Keep on him a little. There. There.
That's what I bought from
Rockefeller. From Winthrop Rockefeller.
Put him on the long end here so we can see as a real bull. I think I paid about $10,000 or $20,000 for that bull.
But for Byrd, ranching was not enough. He's in electronics and land development and even in the space race. Although at 68 he considers himself semi-retired, he still sits on the boards of some 30 or so major companies, including America's fastest growing company, Ling Temco Vought. Yet whether rearing cattle, flying or wildcatting for oil, dry-hole Byrd has always preferred the great outdoors. Not just in work, but in play, too.
Well, I've hunted all my life. From the time I was a little kid, used to kill rabbits, birds, and squirrels for something to eat. Enjoyed it. I don't think I've ever shot anything that wasn't eatable. All these animals that you see here, the natives really appreciate we Texans and other people who come over and hunt because we give them the food. If we hadn't have been there to kill a lot of this food, a lot of them have gone hungry that year. Yeah, I had collected the skins and I had trophies over the years, and I put them down. This was a lawn, back lawn here for my home, and I put them down on the lawn and visualized how they would look in this room and built the room around them. So 28 different animals. This room just took care of them about right. Well, this is a skull of an elephant. You'll note that right here, this little space, if you have a frontal shot on an elephant, you have to hit right here. It pierces the brain. If it hits here, the shot will just stop there, and you keep coming. And there's the elephant's feet there done up in those little stools. These two tables here are very interesting. These are made from the elephant's ear, these two tops. I have a movie that a friend of mine took while I was shooting this elephant. It shows him when I shot him, which makes it a little more interesting to me. Now, right here is something very interesting. This is my line that I got over in Portuguese East Africa, Mozambique. I thought it had a very good mane, but my wife decided that she didn't like the mane. So, Maddie, you tell them about what you did. Show them where you picked out the little of the mane and then had it fixed there, and that's...
This is the lion's real hair. I had the girl come out from Neiman Marcus and put him a mane and a toupee. and a Donnell wig. And here he is, like this. She first had him made looking like a bloodhound with long ears. I finally yelled for my chauffeur to come bring me the fishing cord and the scotch tape, and we stuck him on a toupee and a Donnell wig. Thank you.
When Mrs. Bird's not commissioning wigs for lions, she's perhaps commissioning large religious oil paintings. This one has been 5 years in the fulfillment, and it's probably the third biggest oil painting in the world. It is 124 feet long and 20 feet high, and contains over 100 life-sized figures. At the moment, it's costing Mrs. Bird about £1 million. Its title is The Miracle at Pentecost, and its creator is an ex-advertising artist and keen Bible lecturer, Torg Thompson. Mrs. Bird and her artist attribute their enthusiasm for the project to their discovery that Dallas lies roughly on the same line of latitude as Jerusalem.
I've always been to church. I do happen to be a Presbyterian, though, although I was educated in New York as a secretary. Torg, they told me why that you got James painted in yesterday. I think when you get Peter in, you will really have the picture completed, except for the few white doves and the tongues of flame. I think we'll have the new building done by then. Can't you say something?
Are you talking to me now? Okay. Yes. I hope you're right. The main thing is get that building finished. That's right.
The building will be ready by the time the painting is.
We get that finished and get this building and the sound and the music and everything that goes with it, then we're going to have 100% finished painting.
All the eerie sounds that go with it, and it will be the only one in the world like it. Torg says, I'm going to be in it, and I'm going to be Martha. And I said, well, what did she do? Said she was just the housekeeper. I enjoyed that, being the wife of my husband, Harold Bird.
The one that we're working on here now is Philip. Now, we're going to make Philip Mrs. Bird's son because this man was a very dignified fella, and he came from he was the wealthiest man in the group.
Who are you going to use to be the Peter?
That's the man that I went on a sailing cruise down in the Bahamas, and I've been looking for this man for about 3 years, and I walked on this boat, and he's an English sea captain. And he had a red hair and a red beard.
Which one is going to be Stanley Marcus?
Stanley Marcus is way over there. He's going to be the Pharisee that came to dinner.
Oh, he is?
Besides being the Pharisee that came to dinner in Mrs. Bird's £1 million painting, Stanley Marcus, OBE, is the boss of Neiman Marcus, the world-famous Dallas department store, where the big rich of Texas like to buy their goodies.
You don't have any hurry-up weddings that require instant dresses?
Dubbed by many Dallas in Wonderland, Neiman Marcus is certainly a store dedicated to providing other than the commonplace for the shoppers. Its Christmas gift catalog on occasion has boasted such bargains as his and hers submarines, two-place submarines for couples wanting to be together and away from it all, his and hers Chinese junks, and even one year an Angus steer, offered either on the hoof or else cut up into steaks, complete with giant-sized roast beef cart.
These unusual things we don't expect to sell very many of, but they have to have a peculiar quality of credibility that makes people laugh the minute they see it and then makes them say, well, I wonder if they'll ever sell one of those. Where are those fur models? You want to call Mr. Alfred Sachs at Riverside 29445. Hello. Morning. What, George? Yeah. George, this is the one from France? Yes. I wish I could say I like it, but I don't.
I wish you could say you like it because everybody else is crazy about it.
Well, I'm the great dissenter. It's the only thing I've seen in the new collection that I don't like. I think it's clumsy.
I think it's just great.
It is? I think it'd be wonderful for a A bed throw.
Hello?
You said it. I didn't. Oh, would you come over here a second? Is this the finest leopard that we have?
Yes, it is.
It is? How much is it?
$4,975.
Well, this isn't as fine as we will have. We'll have some that are better than this. We're going to go through the store in a few minutes. I want to make a study of the incomparables, and I'd like to go through with you and Betty and try to locate those items in stocks that represent something that we can say the quality of this is incomparable, such as, let's say, a certain pattern of Wedgwood or Royal Crown Derby. But I want to be sure that in each case these things represent the best.
Now, that's not necessarily the price, as we discussed last year.
Not
the
necessarily
finest
the
quality,
price,
no matter what the
but
price is.
it must represent the, like in a dog show, what they call best of class. And that nobody but nobody anywhere can say, oh, but they're wrong. There is something finer than this.
Yes, I hope so.
Oops, we're on. This is not a floor that we picked.
I think that a store that is pulsating with exciting people and exciting things is a more interesting place to go to than a store that is mundane and dry.
About $300 for the house.
This looks exactly like South Kensington.
And then there's also a stove. I wonder where
The
that
stove's
is.
right next to you,
Where?
right here on the floor.
I think these are cute, but I wouldn't think that they would meet the qualifications
I
for
still don't see it.
incomparable.
Isn't this over here?
This is something that you might keep in mind for the page. I'd like to give them the alternative of a live serpent or a synthetic serpent.
Aha, I'm for that.
Many of our customers have everything, so we're constantly taxing our mind to produce something that they don't have. We try not to say no. Sometimes that leads us into trouble when a customer comes in and says, you know, I would like to send a friend of mine an elephant. And we don't carry elephants in stock, but we've been successful in locating an elephant and delivering it in time for a person if they want it. And we don't try to encourage such esoteric business, but once people begin to depend on you, they will call on you for almost anything. Hello, how are you? How are your poochies doing?
Fine, just small.
These some of the new poochies?
Yes.
Oh, this is
One.
this is silk jersey, isn't it?
Yes, and now he's doing this subdued colors.
This is now $99. This is the chartouche. You know, this is the fiber that comes from the neck of the ibex goat. It grows up about 12,000 feet in the Himalayan mountains. And every spring, the goats come down to lower altitudes and come down to about 12,000 feet. They scratch their necks on the rocks and the branches and leave some hair. And the natives in Kashmir go up the mountains, gather up this hair, take it back down, hand spin it and hand weave it into this fabric, which is truly the most expensive fabric in the world, as far as woolen. Of course, some silk brocades might go more. And then we had this designed and embroidered. I think this will sell for about $3,500, isn't it? $2,795.
The young gentleman who furnishes the information, Steve McCowan, in the trading department. And again, let me call your attention
for the incomparables,
the trading range of
Is this the new fabric that Oxford will have this year, or is there going to be any difference?
No, this is the fine.
This is the finest?
Fine.
And how much will this coat sell for?
1,050.
1,050.
And the top coat.
This color doesn't seem to have as much fire in it as some of the vicuña that I've seen. I mean, some of it had a redder cast, and I think this is an improvement.
I think it's a little, the loft has been taken off the fabric. It's a little more lush.
I think you'd like that.
This is the sports jacket?
Yes, $650 on the sports coat.
Well, you can truly say this is the finest thing in the world of its kind.
Tailoring and fabric both.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Of course, most people look askance at an idea of a sports jacket for $650 that's not bespoke. But the way Oxford makes this with its hand-cut horn buttons and its hand tailoring, there really isn't anything finer in any custom tailoring house in the world, I would think. Yes, well, I think this is about as fine the fine leather thing as I've ever seen. This is reversible, isn't it?
Completely reversible. And I think the remarkable thing about it is the lightweightness of it, you see.
Well, this is made, I think the buyer was telling me last night, by one family in Bologna who makes these things, and we're the only people in the United States to whom they're selling.
That's right. And the second generation has finally reached an age so that their output is such that we can carry it, you see.
Isn't that a little girl's dress?
Yes. And that again, I imagine. I have
show it to me here.
Uh-huh. Just as you see here.
That you have on
This is like an extended glove as far as I'm concerned. It's the softest leather I've ever had on.
I don't think I've ever seen anything finer in leather in my life.
And how they have maneuvered the various handling
We
of
used
the
to get
straps.
things made this beautifully in England before the war. I haven't seen anybody in England who's made this quality since the war, I'm sorry to say.
Well, I use every excuse I can to try it on because it feels
That's beautiful.
We're not snobs about price. If a thing is good enough for $150,000, we're not afraid of it. We have probably the world's most luxurious beauty spa. It's a place that we call the Greenhouse. I've described it as being a hothouse for wilted ladies, because we do just what a hothouse does in restoring life and vitality to a plant that has begun to sag.
The mouse and the cheese. Which would be the more popular gift for a man?
I think the Excalibur.
And this is the Excalibur. And you think this is the most popular for men?
Very
And
definitely.
what would be the most popular for a woman's gift?
The mouse and cheese.
That's curious. I thought the women were afraid of mice.
You would think that. Not the
They're
sticking
not afraid of 18-carat mice.
Stanley Marcus, the multimillionaire merchant prince of Dallas, playing his self-appointed role of Pygmalion to Texas Big Rich. In that same Dallas, before a house modeled on George Washington's own Mount Vernon, but of course a wee bit bigger, another rich Texan and his wife go about their early morning ritual of raising the flag. But Haroldson Lafayette Hunt is the richest Texan of them all. Until recently, he was reputed to be the wealthiest man in the world, but he now seems to have stumbled a little in those particular stakes. A multi-millionaire. Estimates put his worth at between 300 and 500 million pounds, and his weekly income at about £500,000. That is over 75,000 pounds a day. Hunt made his money in oil, and still makes it mostly in oil, though he's branched out now into everything from raising cattle to selling real estate, from peddling patent medicines to promoting professional football, from canning foods to building holiday resorts. Yet he permits himself few pleasures. He takes his lunch to work with him every morning in a brown paper bag. He has no luxury yacht, no villa on the Riviera, no penthouse in Acapulco. He sports neither a fleet of private jets nor a string of racehorses. He doesn't even indulge in a Cadillac or a chauffeur.
Have a nice day.
Okay. I drive medium-sized, medium-priced cars, and I buy ready-made suits, and even after they get pretty old, well, I get quite fond of them and wear them longer, I think, than most people would. And I don't smoke anymore, haven't for years, and I drink practically no alcoholic beverages whatsoever.
Hunt seldom takes a holiday, and rarely, in fact, leaves his home city of Dallas.
I don't care much for travel. I have traveled some, but it was always for a purpose that I was going somewhere. I made a tour of South America back in 1956, and I got quite a good insight into each one of the governments down there, and I have a bad reputation, whether rightful or not, of being frugal, and I'm proud of being frugal.
But as well as being perhaps the most frugal, the most stingy plutocrat of Texas, H.L. Hunt is probably the most controversial, for he is a fervent advocate of right-wing, some would say reactionary causes. He is against the UN, against the war on poverty, against Medicare, against central government aid of any sort. He would rather Washington didn't rule the United States at all, and in his ideal land, votes would be distributed according to the amount of taxes you paid. More than most Texans, even, he is inclined to see communists under every couch and behind every curtain. To Hunt, mankind is divided into communists and constructives, his private word for anti-communists. You are either for him or against him. He brooks no halfway position.
Good morning. Good morning. Hello, Gail. How do you do, Miss Edwards?
Good morning.
A seemingly gentle man to meet, H.L. Hunt is thought by many to be the most dangerous plutocrat of Texas. Not because of what he stands for himself, but rather because of the people he supports, the people he backs with his wealth.
Do you have any important calls? Well, I'll get to that later. I'll accept them later. Well, I'm all in favor of private initiative, people having the pride of accomplishment and self-sufficiency. And so I don't believe, for instance, in this war on poverty. I think that is a phony thing. There are people that, well, people are put on the dole, and also they will hardly consider taking, many of them consider taking a job because that would interfere with their relief payments. There is no other country in the United States that has any chance to stop communism except the United States. It's the only country in the world that can halt it and turn it back.
And ending to turn that tide is how H.L. Hunt spends most of his day and most of his wealth. He churns out letters by the thousand to the editors of every conceivable cornball country hit newspaper in America. He syndicates a weekly column and writes and publishes paperbacks on his views. His staff copy without questioning every telegram or letter he has sent, every article or story that is written about him, and few visitors can escape his office without a bundle of his bum, without a load of his literature. His main propaganda weapon is a radio program called Lifeline, which is carried daily by over 400 stations the length and breadth of America. Its message is one of imminent disaster facing the United States from the enemy within, particularly from the enemy within the federal heartland at Washington. It is a familiar message, of course, among American right-wingers, and a favorite with many of his fellow Texan plutocrats. But during the last 2 years, H.L. Hunt has added another emotive missile to his armory. His league of so-called youth freedom speakers, engaging young teenagers drilled to deliver 3-minute bursts of his propaganda to Rotary clubs and Bible classes.
Many people in the United States really don't believe that communism is a serious threat. Well, these people are in for a big shock because the communists have every intention of doing exactly what they've said they'll do. And they do not hesitate to use force and violence. anytime they think that it will further their cause. Now, I don't pretend to know all the answers, but I do know that it is our duty to get out and warn others of the serious threat that we are facing. We have got to get out and tell others of the subversive movements that are going on right here under our very own noses. It's time to do away with this attitude, oh, it can't happen here. Will communists bury us? Will we face firing squads as in Cuba, and will our little bitty children become slaves? Ladies and gentlemen, the answer rests in the hands of you and others like you. Thank you.
These mercies bless and grant that we may feast in fellowship with thee. Amen.
Almost 80, Hunt has, or so it seems, just 3 passions left in life: making money, combating communism, and enjoying his large family. His first wife bore him 4 sons and a daughter, all multimillionaires now in their own right, and his present wife has 3 daughters and a son, on each of whom he is reputed to have settled $100 million.
It is time for a lifeline.
Keller, a 1964 graduate of A&M, will succeed Jake Helms. Keller was a standout quarterback at Terrell High School and led his team to the Texas Class around the world. Every leftist phrase and cliche of the past half-century now has the hollow ring of mythology. This is Freedom Talk number 53. Printed copies are available at the rate of free for 25 cents from Lifeline, Dallas, Texas, 75206. I'll be back after this message from our sponsor.
Been wanting a little more for your money in a new car? Then you'll enjoy trading for a new 1968 Plymouth at Southwest Chrysler Plymouth.
But just as a family dinner party doesn't deter Hunt from keeping up with his own propaganda, so his daughters entertain him with patriotic songs of their own composing.
We like the United States of America. We like the way we all live without fear. We like to go for our choice, speak our mind, raise our voice. Yes, we like it here. We'd like to climb to the top of a mountain so high, lift our heads to the sky and say how grateful am I for the way that we're living, we're working and giving and helping the land we hold dear. Yes, I like it, we like it here.
Oh.
Good. That's all right. How about another duet?
Yeah, that'd be all right. You want Miss Hunt and myself to sing? Okay.
You said Miss Hunt or Miss Miller?
Well, let's see. We don't need any music. No, we don't need music.
Okay.
To a mansion in a city came a couple old and gray to see their son who'd left them years before. We are just plain folks, your mother and me, just plain folks like our own folks used to be. As our presence seems to grieve you, we will go away and leave you. We are sadly out of place here, 'cause we're just plain folks.
Billy Graham tagged it the 8th wonder of the world. It is Houston's all-purpose, totally enclosed, fully air-conditioned baseball park known as the Astrodome. Until 5 or 6 years ago, this was merely swampland lying on the outskirts of Houston, Space City, USA, home of the astronauts. But now this 16 million pound sports stadium stands 18 stories high and 3 street blocks wide. Boasting inevitably the world's biggest scoreboard, a £1 million electronic job that entertains as it informs and that requires a team of full-time producers and computer experts to run it, the Astrodome is easily the largest indoor arena ever made, as well as the biggest clear-span building ever put up. And the man responsible, the man who made it all possible, Roy Mark Hofheinz, Judge Hofheinz to his business associates, judge on account of having served 4 terms as a county court judge when he was just 24. He had already been a member of the Texas state legislature for 2 years before that, and was to become mayor of Houston before he was 40, and a multimillionaire to boot through owning radio and TV stations and from wheeler dealing in land and slag. Today, age 56, with gold-plated telephone and all, he is probably the world's greatest living showman, a sort of American Lou Grade writ large.
Yeah, well, you got to go where the action is, boy. I put it all together. You don't have to worry about it. Just figure out how you can pay me $25 a year. You heard me. Yeah, we run it, you know. You haven't got anything to do, no responsibility. Just send me a check. That's right. Okay, well, I've sold it to you. I'll have it fixed. It'll be ready for you Saturday. Okay. Bye-bye.
As well as housing a baseball team, a football team, and a hockey team, his Astrodome boasts bullfights, rodeos, polo games, basketball, boxing matches, religious crusades, orchestral concerts, youth jamborees, stage spectaculars, motorcycle championships, and stock car races, or rather, auto-destruction rallies, as he prefers to call them. Indeed, he tries to keep the dome in use 7 days a week, and it's easy to see why when you learn that his lighting bill alone comes to £13,000 a month, and he has to fork out in wages well over £150,000 a year. Last winter, partly on a whim, he bought Barnum and Bailey's circus for £4 million and flew to Rome to clinch the deal at the gates of the Colosseum.
Well, I've always enjoyed the circus, and I guess I've been wouldn't call myself a buff, but a circus fan. And this probably is born of the fact that when I was a youngster and our family was very poor, my father always was able to take me to the circus parade. And beyond that, the only thing we could do was to go to the circus grounds, and in those days we had sideshows on the outside that you could see for 10 cents, but the circus itself was $2 or so. We couldn't afford to go in the main tent, and so we looked at the outside. Excuse me. Hello?
But building the Astrodome has not satisfied him. Yes, sir. Already he has added to it the Astro Hall, the largest convention and exhibit facility in the world, which cost him another £3 million. And these past 12 months he has been completing a £10 million, 57-acre amusement park along the lines of Disneyland, which he styles his Astro World. He plans to spend at least £20 to £25 million more over the next few years on yet further additions to what he describes as his Astro domain, such as a circus museum, 9 hotels, 2 theaters, a big car racetrack, the first inland sea-arama, and a permanent World's Fair. All of which is prompting some people, taking their cue perhaps from the famous Gracie Field song, to accuse him of having a biggest aspidestro in the world complex.
We want to be the biggest and the best, not only in this country, but anywhere in the world. When we are completed here, in my judgment, there will be neither the need for nor the possibility of another World's Fair in this country. We have the acreage on which to do it in a grandiose and, I think, successful way. Well, our endeavor is to create a place for enjoyment in which a family can come to Houston, stay in one of our hotels, and never have to get back into their car until they've had 7 consecutive days of complete, wholesome family entertainment. Certainly within a short time, we're heading towards a 35-hour work week. It means more leisure time for people, the workmen in this country. And and our economy is at an exceptionally higher pace right now, which means the availability of dollars for entertainment.
That lousy tree, that's the one I know how much it cost me. $7,000 to move that bastard in here. One tree.
But Hofheinz faced a major difficulty in building his outdoor amusement park. The same he had faced in trying to obtain a baseball franchise. Houston's terribly humid climate, particularly its high summer temperatures, up in the mid-90s. Once again, his solution was air conditioning.
This is the first effort at really air conditioning an outdoor park. You're never at a point that, even when you're strolling down the street in the sun, that you can't step over to the side and be in manufactured air conditioning. As you sit here, the air conditioning hits you in the face. Well, sit down. Be my guest.
Many Houston businessmen consider Hofheinz crazy even to contemplate air conditioning an outdoor park. But the judge relishes a reputation for pulling off the seemingly impossible. After all, his motto is that success comes in cans, not can'ts. Hofheinz may have a reputation for being a bit of a buffoon. But if he is given to buffoonery, then it is to carefully calculated buffoonery.
If I had the same kind of room and the same kind of place that every home in this country or Great Britain has, nobody would remember it. Our business is one of making indelible impressions upon people who are exposed to us. And I do rely upon my surroundings being of such a kind and character that when you leave, you'll still mention it somewhere. Otherwise, there was no point in my building it in the first place. Because word of mouth is the greatest stock in trade we've got as far as getting people to be sold on what we're doing here. And every time someone mentions us, this alleviates the necessity of having to buy a paid ad. In fact, I sort of like James Bond, so.
It's not difficult, too, to see why Bob Hope has described the judge's taste in furnishings as early King Farouk.
Working for us. If anything, I would say I'm certainly more conservative than I was as a youngster.
Hofheinz recently went on holiday to Thailand and brought back with him 12 tons of Thai antiques. Almost immediately afterwards, the Thai government put a weight limit on a further exporting of Thai antiques.
This is our presidential suite. And we built 6 floors here. We're behind the scoreboard. And we have utilized this space, which is normally dead space in a baseball park, in order to do a very unique thing. The President of the United States, whomever he is, can on 5 minutes' notice be a guest in the Astrodome, and with complete facilities to make him comfortable and the members of his party comfortable. The beds of adequate dimension and special size in order to take care of any size president.
But Hofheinz doesn't just stop at presidential beds and gold-plated telephones. The boardroom, for instance, at the Astrodome, is in the style of a Versailles boudoir, with a princely throne for each director, and a rather more regal one for him, of course. Today, that boardroom is the scene of a typical piece of Hofheinz decision-taking, the choice of crockery and cutlery for the new hotels he is building. No detail is considered too humble for the Hofheinz eye, especially where it concerns his customers. Such decisions he is loath to delegate.
Anything that relates to the consumer has to be a primary concern. They are our business. And having seen Wembley Stadium, I know whoever built it didn't worry about it. But it's the difference between being average or trying to be on top. And we haven't built anything yet that was average. At least we don't think we have.
And then we run it through our gold tank, and it is 22-karat gold.
These warm colors are the things that are very strong in design today. The burnt orange, the old
about the
gold.
design. What does it do to a green vegetable or a red tomato?
Hofheinz even tastes all the food in the snack bars, or mini restaurants as he prefers to call them, that are dotted around his Astro domain.
Do the frying procedures with the fellas back there then. When we get them fried, we'll be stacking the meat, hot juice in the pan. Once you do that, you come out with them hot, onto the bun, with the relish and the peppers.
Now, where do you make a hot dog?
Hot dog right here.
I want a hot dog with everything on it.
Hot dog all the way.
The same dispensers we've got?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Same thing we got over there. Now, do we have an onion dispenser?
No, we have the jar with the lid on it.
But for the past 12 months, the Astroworld amusement park has been Hofheim's particular baby. And with its opening now only hours away, he spurred himself on to the final effort.
We got 2 full hours tomorrow night, at 6:30. Both of them at the same time. That's the only thing right. Got them both on at 6:30. Yeah, Channel 2 and Channel 13 have 1 hour at 6:30. No, 2 different shows. Crack jokes and the losers cry deal. It's that way everywhere. It's a good start. We had a lot of kids here tonight, which is a good indication. Okay, let's see what tomorrow. Put your hand up there, boy. All right, pull it down now. All the way down. Pull it down.
All the way down.
Oh, there it is. Let's make a good contact there. Risk, but it's not gambling. It's been the kind of a relationship that we've made money for the banks and the banks made money for us, which is the way it ought to be. If we want to be on the fun and enjoyment side rather than running a mortuary. Although I think I could make money doing that. They call this a rickshaw, and a man pulls it. They don't have streetcar. They don't ride streetcars and other things. This is the way they go from one place to place. You didn't know that, did you? And you know what the man does? He does just like this. Watch. Here, not quite for my size there. It's the first cigar smoking coolie in the East. Practically each project in which I've been engaged in my business career has always involved hypothecating my previous accumulation and putting it up as security to get more money with which to take on the new venture. We haven't asked promoters that like to use other people's money and other people's risk and take a slice off of the top of what we call the action. We don't do that. We put our money on the top, and if anybody has to get hurt, we'd rather get hurt than have anybody else do it. None of us want anybody running after us. We're just a face in the crowd. The public has the term millionaire. If that ever meant $1 million in cash, free and clear of obligations, I have never been a millionaire and don't ever intend to be one. If it means an accumulation of net wealth over and above total obligations, this didn't take too long. But we never accumulate money. Wouldn't know how, I guess, because I'm accustomed to spending it in the next venture as it comes through the door, sometimes before.
Money means to me it's the satisfaction of being comfortable. You only wear one pair of pants at a time, 3 meals a day, and have a home to live in.
I don't have a very good image. I'm not bothered about the image. It has reached the point in the United States that anyone is actively opposing communism, well, now they get a bad image.
I believe that those who have wealth have an obligation to society to do many of the things that will help improve the communities in which they live.
I don't think that we have too many aristocrats in Texas. The money is too young. Almost every big rich name that you can think of around here was a poor man at one time. A poor man. Started with nothing. Virtually every one of them. Even today.
We're not vain, egotistical, or conceited. Texans just don't have anything to be modest about.
There used to be in other parts of the country the expression GTT, and it was put on barn doors in Virginia and New York, and it meant gone to Texas. These men were either wanted by the police or weren't making it. They were adventurous men and wanting something, hungry for something. They were not men who were doing anything except trying to make some money.